Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Well, I'm still eyeballing this unique three-ring circus we call American politics. Everybody's got something to say about something, and in the reality of it, they say nothing. Now, the politicians in the United States are all bought by lobbyists, pharmaceutical agencies, military weapons industry, foreign lobbyists, which I won't name, but we all know who they are. What they should do, or should have been done, was do an emergency vote by all legal U.S. voters, whether 45 should get impeached or not. The will of the people has spoken. Now, I'm amazed at how many politicians are actual veterans. And I'm amazed how many politicians from back in the day are still in office. One is William Pasquale from New Jersey. I remember that clown from back in the day. Another one is Nydia Velasquez. I believe she was from the Bronx. Totally useless. Amongst a few. Oh, let's not forget Melendez from Union City. The idea of America, who strive to set the tone for the world, is long gone. Checks and balances, that's a good one. When you've had Trumpy, Barack Obama, Clinton, Bush Jr., had parlayed the biggest hoax and scam of the American people, meaning the Afghanistan war and the war against the Taliban and whoever else they can think of. All it's done is $2 trillion worth, made a lot of Afghanistan politicians very rich.
Madam Speaker, I'm proud to yield to the gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Demings, for 2 minutes.
It is amazing how they continue to talk a lot of garbage, caca, basura, feces. But there are issues that need to be addressed. A lot of stuff Trumpy did. The last 3 other numbnuts pretty much did the same thing. In retrospect, we definitely need to change our political system. Instead of a 2-party system, have 5, 6. Multi-party system. You're less likely to have 2 prostitutes sleeping in the same bed, vying over the same clients, the American voter. But that's too simplified. Term limits. The only one that's been talking about that has been Tom Steyer from Iowa. Now, you know, most politicians ain't going to go for that, especially the ones that have been in office for more than 1 term. They made a career out of being politicians. Incredible. Now, everyone's bitching about Trumpy trying to motivate a foreign dignitary, foreign president. Well, let's see. Lyndon Baines Johnson did the same thing to Prime Minister Giep in Vietnam. Either get with the program or get with the program. Clinton did the same thing during his term with respect to Daniel Ortega. Same thing, Hugo Chavez. Same thing Barack Obama did with former president of Brazil, Lula. Get with the program or get with the program, boys and girls. But what I'm trying to say in essence, Trump hasn't done anything that no other president hasn't done. We can go back history to FDR, Harry S. Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, LBJ. The only one was actually Gerald Ford and Jimmy Carter. Believe it or not. But most people don't take the time to understand history and go into the constitutionality of the executive branch of our government. Nixon used the FBI for his own stomping grounds, especially when it came under J. Edgar Hoover, especially when it came to the Black Panthers, Young Lords, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and even Cesar Chavez. The biggest addiction in the world is, of course, power. Corruption begets corruption. Not just in the United States, boys and girls. Look to our neighbors to the south. Mexico. I haven't seen a more corrupt place. Well, I have, but we won't get into that. Mexico, the brain is running nuts. Regardless of what you do, with the exception of Carlos Slim, in the long run, it's the campesino, the jíbaro, the farmer, the poor man, John J. Q. Public, who end up suffering. I've always said it for the last 10 years, the United States needs a severe enema. Trump said it best, drain the swamp. Now the swamp's fighting for control. Now, whether you like Trump or whether you dislike the guy, it's irrelevant. The guy abuses power. Under Senate procedural hearings in the past, they were open to the public, reporters. Using government agencies like the FBI isn't new. Like I said, LBJ and Nixon did it extensively, utilizing the FBI for their political enemies and ne'er-do-wells. Martin Luther King was a very unique victim of the FBI investigation, as well as Martin Luther King. Cassius Clay before he became Muslim, and Muhammad Ali. Angela Davis. So what else is new? What else has changed since, let's say, 1960? Every president in power has utilized their powers, the tools in their grasp, which have been CIA, FBI. It's a fact. But don't let ignorance blind you to the truth. This hearing is going to go on for quite a while. The end result is a roll of the dice. 7-Eleven. Mama needs a pair of shoes. In the long run, it's anybody's guess. You hope. Impeachment, but at what cost? If Trump was a more honorable gentleman, he would have resigned. The same as Joe Biden. Because of their mutual controversies with the Ukraine. People, open your eyes up to the dog and pony show. Because that's all this is. It's a joke. Everyone's saying everything, everyone is saying something, and the reality is they're not saying jack diddly squat that you or I don't already know. Well, I got bored watching the Three Stooges, so I put on back on CNN. I'm getting bored. I might even just watch reruns of Leave It to Beaver. Times were simpler. A kid could ride a bike without a crash helmet, elbow pads, knee pads, and bubble wrap while they were riding their bike. I don't know how many times I crashed my bike or hit a car when I was a kid riding bicycles in Patterson, New Jersey, with a couple of fellas going to East Side Park, West Side Park, and back of John F. Kennedy High School, hanging up in the hood and Park Avenue, doing our dirty deeds in School 15 Park. Roberto Clemente Park. Life is good. But anyway, it's funny about this one speaker, Adam Schiff. No pun intended. He's quite a character. Only in America, boys and girls. Only in America. Well, here comes George Stephanopoulos, who's always got something to say, whether you want him to say something or not. Incredible. Well, have fun and watch the circus. Part 2 continues tomorrow. Or is it part 3? This is worse than a soap opera. The days of our lives. What a joke.